Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really digging into a case that didn't just captivate a community, it actually went on to change laws.
That's right. It's a story that starts with this really promising young woman, full of life, and then, wow, it takes a truly chilling turn during what should have been a carefree winter break.
We're going deep into how her disappearance unified a city, exposed a terrifying pattern of attacks, and really left a lasting mark on how justice is pursued in Nevada.
Our mission today is, well, to go beyond just the headlines. We want to explore the intricate details, the complexities of the investigation.
From that baffling initial evidence.
Exactly. And the incredible community effort that followed, the hunt for a serial predator, and the lasting legacy of a really determined family. We'll trace that timeline piece by piece.
See how vital insights and even a really tragic family parallel kind of emerge from everything that happened.
Yeah.
You might find yourself feeling like a detective right alongside us as we lay out the clues, connect the dots. So yeah, let's get into this deep dive. So we start in Reno, Nevada, January 2008, and we meet Brianna Denison. She's 19, a psychology student at Santa Barbara City College, just home for winter break.
And her background, it's really crucial to understanding why this case hit so hard. People described her as incredibly kind, the type who remembered everyone's birthday.
Yeah. And she had this really, really strong bond with her mother, Bridget, especially after her dad passed away when Brianna was only 6.
She was really finding her path, studying to help children, had a great network of friends, family, just blossoming.
And what's striking, as you said, is how relatable her situation was. She was just enjoying Martin Luther King Jr. weekend events with friends, typical college stuff.
Right. On that Saturday, January 19th, she spent the afternoon with her mom. They even watched a movie together.
Later that evening, she had a bit of a cold, apparently, but her mom encouraged her to go out anyway to a concert.
Brianna hugged her goodbye, sent a last text asking if she should check in later. Her mom said, don't worry about it. Have fun, that everyday comfort. It just set such a poignant stage.
So after the concert, Brianna and her friend Katie, they kept the night going, ended up at Sam's Regency Casino Hotel for a bit.
And then they headed back to Lady's house, which was near the University of Nevada campus. Got there around, 3:30 in the morning?
Yeah, about then. And this house, it had this kind of open door policy, a glass door that apparently was rarely locked, just reflecting this maybe naive sense of safety they felt.
Yeah, which is sadly relevant. So Brianna, she didn't want to wake up friends who were already asleep in Katie's bed. She decided, okay, I'll just sleep on the couch in the living room.
And her last known communication, a text message to her boyfriend, sent at 4:33 a.m.
Then, Sunday morning, January 20th, Katie and another friend, Jessica, they wake up around 9:00 a.m.
And Brianna's gone, just gone. But what they found next, well, that changed everything, didn't it?
Absolutely. Her cell phone, her shoes, her purse. Katie called it her whole life, still sitting right there, untouched.
And it was freezing outside, snow on the ground. The idea she just wandered off in a tank top and sweats, impossible. Just didn't make sense.
But the most chilling part, really, was the pillow she'd been using. There were these two small spots, a spatter pattern, signs of a struggle.
Like evidence mixed with maybe phlegm or saliva, mucus, mascara stains too. It strongly suggested something traumatic happened right there while her face was pressed into the pillow.
Yeah. And the blanket she'd been using was found oddly in the kitchen. And a stuffed bear she often used as a second pillow, that was missing.
So all these details, police immediately start thinking, okay, this isn't a missing person case in the usual sense. This looks like a kidnapping.
Exactly. An abduction scenario became the primary focus right away.
So with an abduction likely, and those signs of a struggle, what's the first thing forensic teams are looking for when they get inside that house on Mackay Court?
Well, the absolute priority is evidence. And they quickly found something critical, an unknown male DNA profile, right there on the doorknob.
Okay, so a genetic fingerprint. That tells them they're looking for an unknown man.
Precisely. But the huge hurdle was this profile didn't match anyone in CODIS, the existing DNA database, at that time.
So a massive piece of evidence, but no name attached. A dead end, almost.
It could have been. But this is where the community response was just, well, honestly, incredible. Unprecedented, really.
What happened?
Reno, at that time, had a significant backlog. Nearly 3,000 DNA samples waiting to be processed for various cases.
Wow. Hey.
Within days of Brianna vanishing, the community rallied. They raised an astonishing $150,000.
Yeah.
Just like that.
$150,000. Why? What was the goal?
To clear that backlog, that money allowed the crime lab to basically work around the clock, processing those old samples, hoping one might match the DNA from the doorknob. It was this idea of Brianna became everyone's daughter. Public grief literally funding and accelerating the forensic work.
That's amazing. Did it work? Did they find a match among those 3,000?
Sadly, no. Despite that incredible effort, none of those samples matched the DNA from Katie's house.
Huh. So back to square one?
Not quite. Because then detectives uncovered something much more sinister. That same unknown male DNA, it was linked.
Linked to what?
To at least 2 previous sexually motivated attacks. Right there in the same area near the UNR campus just a few months earlier in late 2007.
Wait, what? So this wasn't the first time?
No. The first linked attack was November 13th, 2007. A 21-year-old student sexually assaulted at gunpoint in a parking lot. Her screams actually scared the attacker off, and he dropped a packet of condoms.
Okay.
Then, December 16th, 2007, a 22-year-old exchange student grabbed outside her home, lost consciousness, then sexually assaulted in a truck.
Oh my, did she get a look at him or the truck?
She did. She provided crucial details, described the attacker, the truck, even remembered a distinctive radio with red and blue lights inside, and weirdly, a baby's shoe on the floor.
A baby's shoe, strange detail.
Very. And both victims reported something else chilling. Their underwear was taken, like a trophy.
So detectives realized this wasn't isolated, this was a pattern, an escalating pattern.
Exactly. They were dealing with a serial predator, and the attacks were getting bolder.
So with this escalating threat now clear, what did law enforcement do? The urgency must have been immense.
Absolutely immense. They immediately started interviewing nearly 100 registered sex offenders living in the area. Standard procedure, but necessary.
And you released a description, right? A sketch?
Yes. Based on the victim's accounts. A white male, likely 28 to 40 years old, maybe 5'6" to 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
And driving an SUV or possibly an extended cab pickup truck.
The big question hanging over everyone, who was this guy and was he going to strike again?
The fear was palpable.
Then almost a month after Brianna disappeared, February 15th, 2008, the worst possible news.
Yeah. A man named Alberto Jimenez, just on his lunch break, he saw something in a shallow ditch near a business park, about 8 miles from where Brianna was taken.
What did he see?
At first, he actually thought it was a mannequin. But when he got closer, he saw feet. Wearing bright orange socks, that was the only item of clothing on the body.
Oh, no.
The very next day, February 16th, the autopsy confirmed it. It was Brianna Denison.
Devastating. And the cause?
The official cause was strangulation. And it was confirmed to be a sexually motivated crime, linking it definitively to the pattern.
And you mentioned something found with her underwear.
Yes, that's a particularly chilling detail.
Yes.
2 pairs of underwear were found near her body. One pair was pink. Her friend Katie recognized them as Brianna's.
Okay, and the other pair?
The other pair was black and unidentified. Police strongly believe the perpetrator left these items there deliberately, almost like a signature or a way to taunt investigators. A truly disturbing calling card.
The city must have been heartbroken, but also probably angry.
Absolutely. Reno rallied again. Those Bring Bree back signs immediately changed. Now they read Bring Bree Justice. The hunt intensified, big time.
And it took a while, but then a break. Almost 10 months later, November 1st, 2008.
Yes, a critical tip came in through the secret witness program, which, is vital in cases like this, allowing people to share information anonymously.
What was the tip?
It was from a woman. She reported finding suspicious items, specifically women's underwear, in her ex-boyfriend's truck sometime earlier.
Okay. And who was the ex-boyfriend?
He was a 27-year-old man named James Michael Biela, construction worker, former Marine.
Biela. And was there anything else suspicious about him?
Oh, yes. He had moved away, quite abruptly, to Washington State shortly after Brianna's body was found, and he'd sold his truck in Idaho on the way, a truck that matched the description given by one of the earlier victims.
Wow. Okay, that's significant. So police contact Biela.
They do.
Yeah.
And his reaction is, well, telling. When they first reached out, he didn't even ask what the investigation was about, just immediately denied any involvement.
Red flag.
Definitely.
Yeah.
He refused to give a DNA sample voluntarily. And his girlfriend at the time actually contradicted the alibi he gave. Things weren't adding up.
But they still needed his DNA to link him, for sure, right? How did they get around his refusal?
This is where the investigation got really clever. Detectives learned Biela had a young son, 4 years old. They sought and were granted permission to obtain a DNA sample from the child.
From his son. How does that help? Can you do that?
Yes, and it was a brilliant move. Using advanced forensic techniques, specifically something called familial DNA searching, It's complex. But basically, by analyzing the son's DNA,
Uh-huh.
they could determine with a very high degree of probability that the child's biological father was the same person whose DNA was left at Brianna's abduction scene and the scenes of the two prior rapes.
So even without Biela's DNA directly, they could link him through his son.
Exactly. It wasn't a direct match, but it established that extremely close biological relationship. That gave them the probable cause they needed, the legal justification to go to a judge and get a court order, compelling Biela to provide his own DNA sample. It was a way to bridge the gap.
That's fascinating. So they got the court order.
They did. On November 25, 2008, police moved in. They took James Biela into custody right as he was dropping his son off at preschool.
And they got his DNA sample then.
Yes, under court order, the results came back.
Yeah.
A perfect match, conclusive. His DNA matched the profile from the doorknob, from the other assault scenes. It was the breakthrough everyone in Reno had been desperately hoping for.
Finally, so the trial.
It took place in 2010, May 27th. After a really harrowing 3-week trial, James Biela was found guilty. Guilty of the kidnapping, sexual assault, and murder of Brianna Denison.
And also the earlier attacks.
Yes, also guilty on sexual assault charges for those 2 previous victims. The defense tried, arguing mitigating factors like an abusive childhood he allegedly suffered.
But the jury wasn't convinced.
No, they weren't swayed. The court handed down the death sentence for Brianna's murder.
Death sentence. And what about the other charges?
Then, on July 30th, 2010, Judge Robert Perry added 4 additional life sentences for the prior rapes and the kidnapping count related to Brianna.
So basically ensuring he'd never get out, even if the death sentence was appealed.
Precisely. It guarantees that even with the lengthy appeals process for death penalty cases, he would still serve decades behind bars. And his appeals, by the way, have been consistently denied, most recently in 2019.
So looking back, what's the lasting impact on the community beyond, the immediate fear and the increased sales of things like pepper spray around the university?
Well, the community definitely became more security conscious. But the biggest, most tangible legacy is legislative. Brianna's mother, Brianna Denison, became this tireless advocate.
For what exactly?
She campaigned relentlessly for what became known as Brianna's Law. It's a Nevada state law that mandates anyone arrested for any felony not convicted, just arrested, must provide a DNA sample to be entered into the database.
Wow. Arrested, not convicted. That's a big change.
It is, and it was signed into law in May 2013. Since then, it's been credited with helping solve numerous cold cases because it significantly expands the pool of DNA samples available for comparison.
Yeah.
It's likely prevented future crimes, too.
So Brianna's Law has actually closed other cases.
Oh, absolutely. Reports indicate dozens of previously unsolved cases across Nevada have been resolved, at least in part, thanks to DNA matches made possible by this law. It brought closure to other families and helped identify other offenders.
That is an incredible legacy, turning such grief into something that protects others. Brianna Denison's description of Brianna becoming the daughter of our entire community, it really resonates.
It truly does. It speaks volumes about how a community can heal, how it can find purpose in tragedy. People left flowers, candles at the site where Brianna was found, created this lasting memorial. It's a physical symbol of that collective grief and determination.
But the story has this other layer, doesn't it? A really heartbreaking echo.
Yeah, it's incredibly sad. Exactly 10 years after Brianna was abducted, to the month in 2018, her 19-year-old cousin, Caitlin Denison, also went missing.
10 years later, also missing.
Under mysterious circumstances. She had apparently told her sister she feared for her life shortly before she disappeared.
And Caitlin, is she still missing?
Yes. As of today, Caitlin Denison remains missing. It's just this stark, unsettling reminder that even with progress like Brianna's Law, the fight for justice, for safety, it's ongoing.
A really tragic parallel.
It is. So this deep dive into Brianna Denison's case, it's really, it's a powerful testament, isn't it, to forensic science, to community action working together.
Yeah, definitely.
It reminds us of the insidious nature of escalating violence, how predators can operate in plain sight. But also the profound impact one life, even one tragically cut short, can have, driving change, fostering that collective will to protect the vulnerable.
A complex legacy.
Very. And it leaves us with something to think about, maybe. As you reflect on Brianna's story, its ripples, the law named after her, the ongoing search for her cousin, what responsibility do you feel we all share as a community in trying to prevent tragedies like this and ensuring justice reaches everyone?